Yeah.
Children?
Just interact with these.
How is the presentation?
First,
Okay.
I would just speak behind the Taj Mahal.
Oh, yeah, not speak. The lead speaker is not here. Just, okay.
Where is this?
This is Niagara Falls.
Oh. So y'all can be inclusive, you can go all over the world. That looks like Boston. Or is there a place in India that has the change?
This is states, but
Yeah.
Gee.
This is not
this is not India.
Nice prepared.
So does India have,
It's lower part.
Really sharp bottom.
really?
Yeah. I think you'll see Kashmir, Chinese.
That has like similar payment. And this.
Like a screen is short.
Does this really, is it southern India is cooler?
It's coastal.
Yeah.
It's coastal. The interior is all extreme.
Yeah.
And as you're near the coast, it is like a coastal climate. And the Himalayas, if you are in Jammu and Kashmir, or you are in Himachal, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really pretty.
Yes.
So we have all climates. It's a vast country.
Now, do you travel a lot?
I travel.
And what do you do for work?
I don't do the husband in real estate and construction. And otherwise, that's our trust. So we work in
वो सबको एक बार बताइएगा।
So the topics we have workshops, management counselor, so all these mentoring, that we do. How about you?
Well, Indians, man, don't look so young. Your skin is so pretty. So much. Is it the food or just that mental attitude?
For me, it is Christ. Because I love him and I see his love, and he gives that peace which the world cannot give. So all my stress I take to him. So he helps me a lot. But otherwise, like I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat, drink a lot of water. And all these Protestant, interdenomination. So I'm Protestant.
When my mom's my language, my mother
I have Catholic also.
yeah.
And what do you do?
I am a leadership coach who's Cantonese to bring authentic leaders, leaders that
creating something new. Which individually you cannot do, or as a team you can do. Talk about God's practice, the most important thing I can imagine. That's what we talk about. Yes.
For me.
You are from South India, right?
Bangalore. Faculty of Project Management.
You are a small
First one. First session.
Okay, start with.
Started discuss. Because the main lead speaker only not there. Not reply.
Has the lead speaker checked in? Has the lead speaker checked in?
No. Based on
We are all supported. So what we do is
one yourself, one moderate yourself.
If you come here so that they can shoot it, so that I'm going to stick as
Live streaming will be happening. Formally just moderate procedure.
see with us, how did you get it?
Thank you.
It'll be a bit short, I guess. As one species on Earth, I believe it has become more important than ever for humankind to create peace and love throughout the world. For the first time in history, we can actually just destroy ourselves with a push of a button. Our Earth is suffering, as are the people on the planet. However, there is hope. All around the world, more youth are speaking out, taking a stand and taking action. And you know what? People are listening. Global youth have ideas, great ideas. I'm a part of a 100-year-old global rural youth organization.
Please welcome. Please.
That makes people lose.
ये हो रही है सुबह चलेगी हो रही है
सुबह नहीं आ रहा था साउंड बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है सुबह से चला
हाँ वो जो दरवाजे पे
क्या पहला पहला ही हमारा ऐसा हो जाता है।
चल रहा था मॉर्निंग पे तो पूरा चला
मॉर्निंग तो कुछ नहीं था हाँ, जब हम लोग एग्जाम पे चलते सब भूल जाते हैं।
उसका प्रॉब्लम सर हो गया
as soon as it is on, it's done.
And here's the other speaker right here.
I want to
Here, I can speak.
somebody can model it
okay, she's not the session. It's only just moderate the session. So more it takes the problem.
वो मैं करता हूँ वो मैं कर रहा हूँ वो चेक करता हूँ आपको टाइपिंग कर देता हूँ
Yeah. Go ahead. First she will speak. Already she has started speaking. One of the moderate session. You are.
सर ये हमारी सर ये ना that will get very that is a real
Today's session was on my faith in global citizenship and building world peace through youth engagement. The lead speaker was Denisa Bokovic. She's not here, but the panel speakers, Mary Beans and Ms. Nina Das are here. They will go ahead with the session. Just give session to them. Let them continue.
Hi, everybody. Looks like a,
Okay, you can moderate the session. Continue.
sorry,
Okay.
what would you like me to do?
Just moderating the session and continue. You can interact with the panelists.
Hi, welcome to the Full House. I almost feel like Dr. Steve Crown's Miss Universe talking about world peace. So I'm all for world peace and youth playing a role in it, and all of us, me especially, who's past the youth, still could play a role in it. So how do we start? With the idea of global peace. It starts with the generation that we live with, the generation that we're going to face, and that means our children, which means if we have to build a better place to live, God after that. We have to bring our children into a new educational system, and that begins at home, which means we as parents have to study and learn and read and reach out to our children so that they become better human beings than us. Would you like to say, Mike?
That's true. Family has a big role in educating. As one species on Earth, I believe it has become more important than ever for humankind to create peace and love in the world. For the first time in history, we can destroy and obliterate ourselves with just a push of a button. Our Earth is suffering, as are the people of Earth. There is hope. All around the world, more youth are speaking out, taking a stand, and taking action. And people are listening. Youth around the world have ideas. They have great ideas. I'm a part of a 100-year-old global girl youth organization called Girl Scouts are Girl Guides. For 100 years, this organization has begun building women leaders around the world. They're courageous, confident, and have great character. Through the program in Girl Scouts, girls from age 5 to 18 are taught to look at the world around them through activist eyes. We are taught to notice issues concerning those around us and when we can make a difference. We look at issues pertaining to girls locally and globally. Then we systematically address the root cause of these issues and create a sustainable plan of action. In the last 2 years, I have focused and taken action on projects dealing with the issues of the impact of media on girls. Girls look at media and they see these models who are skinnier than possible, who have gorgeous hair, beautiful makeup, and girls feel like they're ugly. So they get involved with alcohol, drugs, things that are not healthy, things that are not good for them. Carbon emissions is another thing. They impact young children, especially at schools. Children are at the same height as the exhaust pipe, so their health and well-being is affected by that. Violence against girls and women, that is a giant problem in our world today. That is also caused by media. A lot of domestic violence is because the women feel like they are worth nothing, so they can be treated like nothing. Last year, our local family shelter was on the verge of closing and had lost its funding. This is a really big deal because the family shelter helps cover the women who have been affected by violence, domestic violence. I decided to take action knowing that self-esteem was the root cause. My plan was to make the shelter more welcoming and homey so that the women would stay and get the help they needed. My plan took off, gained media attention, and now we are able to redo all the rooms in the shelter, and we are able to serve about 58 women a day versus only 8. I believe it's because I'm only 14 that the media really jumped on my project. By youth organizations bringing light issues that adults are too busy or not willing to see, we touch their hearts, slow them down enough to do what is right. It's almost like the guilt treatment. If we can do it, if us children can do it, then why can't adults? On the grand scheme of these issues that are plaguing the world, it seems really overwhelming. But we can actually make a difference by just taking grassroots. We can make a difference by taking grassroots steps towards a future.
I think the first thing that we need to do is address the subject that is politically incorrect. And I'm known for talking about being politically incorrect, as my friend would say. I work with Maritime International France. So the subjects you talk about, we've always been blamed for the skinny women and giving women the wrong idea of who they are, what they are. Actually, we don't. We try to be as natural and we address the real women. But however, we do need to make money for the magazine, so at times we do have to have models, and that's their job. And their job is to look the way they have to look, just the way we have to look for our jobs. So don't blame us for the problem of skinny women. That's a different subject. So I thought I'll just move that a little aside. The big problem is that we have religion and caste and the problem of fundamentalism, which is what is the biggest threat to global peace today. And youngsters, children as young as you, are holding guns and fighting guerrilla wars. How do we address that? That, let's just say that that is the biggest problem now. And it's going to be a problem as we grow unless we get youth, youngsters to understand the different religions. I've often been asked, are you Hinduism? And then I have to go into a whole lecture on how Hinduism is not a religion. It's It's a philosophy, it's a way of life. It does not come from a book. The next question, when I am really enjoying my state, is, you actually eat cow? Well, I do, and so do many Hindus, and our scriptures have never said no to beef eating or pork eating. So these are the kind of misconceptions that the world has. Similarly with other religions. Example, Islam. A hot topic. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to say the M word anymore. But I shall. Forgive me. Has anyone read the Quran in this room?
Just a few in ayats, yes, but not the.
So you will understand that it is basically a book which is a travelogue on how to survive life with Israel. It is not about it's not about who is not Muslim, who is not, and why non-Muslims are kafirs, as they call non-Muslims. And they do not believe in any idol. Do we know that? None of us made an effort to read other religions. So the same way that I'm asked to read cow, because when I say that I'm not Hindu, but I follow a way of life, which was a long process through my experiment. I don't know whether it's an experiment, but I loved religion as we go along. I read Quran, I read the Bible, I read the Gita, which is. And if you talk about Gita, Bhagavad Gita, which everybody knows, I think, the West as well, and is highly revered. That's the book that in the Indian Code of Law we touch, like the Christians touch the Bible and say, whatever I say will be all true, and then they lie. Bhagavad Gita is actually a conversation between two people on war and how to win a war, in which there is no, you win war at any level. You go to any extent. So I bring this topic because the generation that comes, that we are bringing up, should understand is what they're understanding about Islam. I mean, now we have fundamentalists, Hindu fundamentalists, Christians, conversion into Christianity is a big issue in India and in many other countries. The next generation must understand that religion is only a way of life. What you choose. Buddhist monks eat meat. And everything's Buddhists are just vegetarians. So the idea is that we move to a generation that understands the basic fundamentals of life, which comes from all of us. And your identity of your religion is not your complete identity. We move forward, make it clear to our young generation that the way forward to a peaceful life is to accept all religions. And in this, I specifically say religion, and I do not go into building schools. No schools. We need a better education system.
Welcome.
Better parental guidance. These are all part of how we slowly move into global peace. Just as long as one hand is not going to get global peace. Whether it's you or in our day. And the wars that we have is now mental. It's not about just guns and tanks rolling. It was easy. I think if we lived in 1918 and 1945, it would have been easier life because the war was actual, in real. There were guns. Those big tanks rolling. But today you're fighting the mind, the mindset. So what needs to change is the mindset. And that's our job. So it's yours, mine, to change the mindset that peace is in the mind. Bring a solution for that, and the solution to that is to actually talk to each other, understand the basics of each other. And then slowly I hope that we will not have a Syria or an Iraq or a North Korea.
Any cues? Do you want to mention your work with the peace camp? Because it's in direct relationship with what she was talking about.
We have a program in my town. We call it Peace Camp, and we bring in a whole bunch of children, and we introduce them to all these different religions, trying to teach them that just because it's not their way of doing things, just because it's not their way of thinking, doesn't mean it's the wrong way.
Which I think would happen if we had more of it in schools. It's great to have such camps, but I think it should spread further, especially in India and our neighbors and America, actually the world. We should have schools which takes these camps as part of their curriculum. So you have to reach out to a larger number. And one way of doing it is through schools.
This week, as we speak, is the first time they've taken peace camp into public school. So it's a first step to, so I think you're right on, and just getting in the door in America in a public school is huge. But this for 3 days will be in, right now, they're in the elementary schools, and they bring all the faith traditions together, all the kids from the different faiths, and then talk about the faiths to the religion and talk about that. So it's a small step, but it's a step.
That's a big step.
I would also like to add to what she was saying. I come from a Mexican border town right on the border with the USA. It's Nogales, Arizona. With
Is the
Nogales.
wall coming up? Is the wall coming up?
Hopefully not. Cross your fingers.
Orange is
Let
the
November come. Let
Orange is the
November
new
come.
White House.
And we are now having a youth program. That's why I was so interested in coming to the session, half and half in each side. It's because there's going to be a tennis program by a tennis pro who's going to be living in Nogales for a year. And since many of the children in the very dangerous neighborhoods on the Mexican side do not have a visa to cross, and the American children on the US side, their parents might not allow them to come. So they're going to be educated through Skyping sessions. What are you doing? What are you doing today? Et cetera, in a way of letting aside the political momentum we are living, which is equal to the religious momentum we are all living. So the sooner we start, the better chances we have to overcome the boundaries, because the borders right now are virtual. If you lose your visa and you can come, then you will be Skyping the session and you will still be here on actual time, not like recorded or something. So we do have to think about that virtual, no guns. It's very interesting because it's the new way of having a war. And whatever happens after November, we'll told her or not, we are going to be on the news for the wrong reasons. So we hope to be on the news for the good reasons. And focusing in youth is the only chance we have.
Is building a bladder.
We will talk about it over coffee. Thank you.
Also, I may add, recently an NGO approached me. I'm an artist, a contemporary artist, and an educator. I take grade 11 and 12. I teach art to grade 11 and 12, history of Indian art and practical. A simple, noble, humble profession. So I was approached by an NGO who said, we would like to take you to Pulwama. Now Pulwama is in Kashmir and it is the most disturbed area, may I put it, and it is the hub of terrorism. So all the incubation about everything starts at Pulwama. It's a land where a normal person will not be comfortable entering. But on the face of it, when I went there, not to use the word terrorism, people were the same, children were the same. I went there and I took incubation classes on art. These little children had done nothing but stone pelting at the army, or from childhood had seen nothing but only disturbance. They were born in an atmosphere like that, they were been brought up with the same kind of thought. And I took incubation classes with the schools there where they had never heard of what art was, what painting was. I carried paints, canvases, and I made them do a hands-on project with physical embodiment. I made them put paints on their hands and without inhibition of hers is better and mine is less, so that everybody can do a similar job with hands on the canvas. And they had a wonderful experience. And for 2 days, the students came and they learned how to make portraits and they drew. Because I strongly believe we need to find, like you said, a virtual way. We need to find ways to bring about peace. You need to start young, we need to start early. So I believed in it and I went all the way risking my life and but believe me, it was, the media has something else to say and something else happens.
Wow.
So there is hope.
I want to say, I want to ask you actually, and you, Mary, today we have so many challenges in the world. Peace is becoming a very complicated actually emotion. And we are talking, when we talk about pupils or young people in the schools and places of conflict, especially Syria. And how do you think the media can overcome all the problems that happen to the pupils in the schools? The pupils are exposed to so many things. Murder, killing, rape, everything every day. And you can control even what they see and what they watch and how they just get messages from so many places. how can we can overcome, not only overcome, how can we really bring the concept of peace for these people who are now under attack all the time, everywhere. Attack not physically, the concepts. It's a very difficult thing, and the challenges are very, very big. So the media now is something that very controlled by the interest of so many people, and the work becoming very hard. How do you see things? And also maybe you are in the United States, not the same, but how can you bring, also in the United States they have so many problems that are so exposed. How do you see that we can bring the peace for these people?
One I'd like to say is the problem or the issue is that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So whether it's Kashmir, Syria, Iraq, North Korea, Sri Lanka, anywhere, you will always have these two mindsets. And the media has a big role to play, not in controlling the war, the guns will go on, but in clearing the misconceptions, and which is why I agree with Shruti that it has to start young, because as you grow, the thought, example, Sri Lanka is one of the strongest examples of this. They started, the youngsters were fighting it because they misunderstood what the war was. They were being raped. The Tamil group were being raped, so were the Sri Lankans. So it was like a score, who gets more. Which is why in the beginning I said it has to start young. And it has to grow into the mindset. Otherwise we continue to fight for basically nothing. Kashmir has been an issue for 65 years now. Yeah. The 65th year of the Kashmir issue. I picked Kashmir because one, we have a porous border on the Pakistani side, on the Chinese side, and China's east in Tibet. China has already occupied spaces in the northeast. So we really are living in a borderless, we are slowly living in a borderless world. And the war is coming home. When I go out today in Delhi, you suddenly get a message saying that today is a red alert day. I mean, nothing happens. No bomb goes off, no building falls. But just that message is enough to send a little butterfly in your stomach. So if the media has to play a role, a positive role in making sure that the generation that comes reads the right way of, when they present correct view, parents have to encourage their children to read. Because the biggest problem today is that children don't read. They don't read. And by read, I don't just mean books, but newspapers, books, social labels, social media,
History.
Twitter. Sorry.
History, geography.
Yes, history, geography. They don't understand history, geography, all of it. So, and that's the parental job, to make sure that you get that your child moves in that direction, that he or she understands where the hell is Oklahoma, or where the hell is Kashmir, and what really started the problem? Why is there a problem in Kashmir? Why is Kashmir different from other states? We don't, I can assure you, none of the children in India will be able to answer that today. They will all say Article 356, but they have no idea what it is. Kashmir is the only state which has its own constitution. So we began wrong. And we're paying the price for it as we speak. So there are corrections to be made. I don't know whether these corrections will be made. But yeah, our next generation as we move, the education system has to also move beyond books and get more engaging. They have to engage, with other people in a way. When we were growing up, we did not know who is a Hindu or a Muslim by just the name. We just knew them by their names. My name is Nina. It's Slavic and Israeli. And my surname, I've been taking my surname, I take my dad's name as my maiden name is certain, I take my dad's name, which is Haridas, which is as Hindu as it can get if you really read into it. But nobody knew, or we grew up not knowing whether somebody is, and I studied across the world, so we never identified each other by their religion or caste or their surnames. The surnames didn't exist. But today, the minute you talk to somebody, the first thing that comes is the surname. And in some cases, the name. So once we interact that, we blur, not just blur, we become borderless in terms of identities. And the media can help in that. That's a generation change we need now. No, I am not a Hindu or a Russian or an Israeli. Just got my name in. I should not be identified or confused as to who I am because my name is so bizarre. I'm happy that I was named in this bizarre way. So I think that's where the media plays a role in presenting positive stories, real stories. If there is a problem, write about it. Kashmir, there are innumerable problems. But at the same time, there are very good stories. We do not bring these good stories out.
And I think that's a big thing is most of the media, at least in America, is focused on all the bad things that are going on, about all the bombings, all about the murders, and they usually stereotype. They usually only talk about this certain group doing all of those bad things, and that creates a bad stereotype. Well, my generation, we grew up learning, or surrounded by the stereotype that, oh, Muslims are bombing the US, therefore they're all bad. When in reality, that select few might not even be Muslim. It's just labeled. And so the children grow up, and then they go to war saying they deserve this, they treated us badly, we're gonna fight to be treated fairly, when in reality that wasn't true. So media can help instead of stereotyping and all the bad things that are going on. I have yet to find a news channel that has good things going on about 60% of the time. So I think the media.
Hi, I wanted to say it's a great idea to have the news present more than what they do, which is a lot of sensationalism. And yes, I have been teaching at community college outside Los Angeles for a number of years, and people have no idea what goes on in the world. They don't study geography in high school anymore. When I discovered this 3 years ago when I was doing a sabbatical, I was shocked. And I asked my kids, 18 to 35, you don't know geography? No. Not only do they not know what's happening in the world, they don't know the names of the states in the United States, which is very bizarre. And the media here too is very sensationalistic, and to go past that, what are those horrible TV shows called soap operas? They are offensively, terribly lacking in aesthetics, in presentation, in everything. And the one website I found, and I love reading it, is thebetterindia.com. Please get it. They send out stories every day, and it breaks all boundaries of community, culture, class, everything, to bring us amazing stories. And that is happening every single day, and we don't know about it. And when I shared it with my students in Cypress College in Orange County, which is as orange curtain as you can get, it's like, why don't we have something here? Well, go and start it, guys. But they don't have that, excitement, because they're still trying to, quite honestly, write English. It's the bane of my existence, grading papers right now. But yeah, we need to go past all of this. And we need to go past beliefs, because those are always false. When it becomes codified, it becomes false. So we need to live in an enlivening education. And it has to begin right there within the story. So let's make it happen. Thank you.
May I add something here? I represent media as a filmmaker. And yes, I do a lot of documentary films and do a lot of programs for television in India. I would want to add a certain thing to it is when we were taught filmmaking as filmmakers, yes, definitely we talk about understanding responsibility in terms of the content. Yes, but as you said, it's important. Media these days focuses on what's sellable, what sells the most, because like certain channels that we spoke about. Yes, the TRPs. That's the way they generate money. So what sells? Here, as people, we need to understand it's very important that we understand what do we need to accept in our homes, in our families, when we're bringing up children. It's important that we monitor what's being watched around. Because of the TRPs, the channel accept those programs, you know. And again, even media in terms of news and everything, you go with the good content, but good content and responsible content is not accepted because that's not a sellable content. What sells is not really all positive and good things. Like she said, there are a lot of good things happening, but those are not spoken about. You know, because it's again on the acceptability factor. We are not prepared as people to accept things which are good, which makes us feel good. That's the reason in the newspapers and in the television we see content only which is, you know, it's like it catches attention which becomes sellable. So that is what I would want to add, that as people we would also want to show to people and what's our acceptability in terms of the content that we want. If a responsible and good content we accept it, that will become more sellable on channels.
You have to start somewhere.
For the sake of world peace,
Yes.
I can take a pay cut.
So we are going to have the session by 3.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Oh, I don't know which one they were. Yes.
No, I think that was very scary.
Please welcome, please. Have a seat. Now, once you say, I speak on meaningful.
Certainly, I'll be coming to this. I will keep coming
You're with her?
आइतो जाऊँ हाँ जाओ
And I'm like, what? I mean, he didn't know what
connect
a heel was. Like, yeah, on the heel of his foot. I didn't know his body. And I'm thinking this is kind of yeah, well,
ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ನೋಡಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು
I don't think it's anything I ever thought that would be.
Diversity.
So what are you
Yes.
Wow.
My 35-year-olds today can't write paper. Wow. And I do not agree with that being taught with 5-paragraph essay. I thought, please ban it. When they come to my class, I said, do not write 5-paragraph essays. You are writing multiple paragraph essays. They end up with 4-page-long paragraphs. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
They don't read instructions. All they want to do is get a good score.
ठीक है थे
It's entitled.
उनको भी एक माइक देते हैं एक माइक
Managers are admin They should be
अभी
fired.
देते
They're the ones who get
हैं उनको एक है यहाँ पे
I hear you. I hear you.
Well, it's lovely to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. Maybe we'll see you again. Where are you staying?
Thursday from Dhaka to Dubai.
हाँ इसको लगाने के लिए टोटल
We never knew what we're talking about.
No, it's not.
Let's get to it. So drop in if you have time.
I would love to.
Can I have your card too?
Sure. Neena ji. Ye lijiye.
Where is that sheet?
No, you take the this one, huh? Visiting card. You take visiting card.
Card visiting card. Madam, it can.
Yes, I'm doing one on Starbucks.
Basically, you guys are basically talking about all the dogma that used to be running chains, right?
Yeah. You can make the live streaming here. Whatever you talk now, you can get in the www.wef.org live stream. If you go, and then whatever you want now talk, everything's up there. You can see.
So they have a children's right here, number 114.
Sorry, leave the port.
Power button.
Is there? Okay.
Neena, those are
ఇక్కడ హిస్టరీ
Yeah, and we were wanting to ask some questions about what's been going on in India. He did so many great things that has it really made India whole. So I would love to visit with you.
Whatever you talk now, now it's online stream.
I love it.
So I've done that. I teach courses on
I see.
Shanti Center also done Center for Peace and Conflict Resolution. Working on a world beyond war. The short of the nation skills. So you will say, so do you ever just
ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ವರ್ಡ್ ರೆಡಿ
Well, that's because I do more and I'm in
copy your right yes it's correct
Yes, I love this stuff. Now do you use no actually. Anyway, it's, yeah.
Thank you. This one, suddenly I was like,
And this was the first session.
Somebody's there. Just love it. also makes sense, but it just means that. He's still continuing to get his degree. He's, he's not married yet, but he's dating. But he just, like, he's gonna be a tour and he's already great. That's really great to watch. So. Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Holly. Just say hi. I'm actually 20 years old. She wants to meet.
Do you mind if I sit here?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing in your space?
Huh?
Catch up with your colleagues or your friends. You're also speaking?
Not really, but may end not the real way.
Tera pa?
Huh?
No, thanks. Thank you, no.
But it's good to these sessions. Actually, thank you so much.
Hey, yo, I'm ready. I will. Yes, I will.
Thanks.
You in action, you speaking, you listening intently. Yes.
What have I done?
Yes. You've left me in charge, that's what you've done.
Yes, and write here. What should I write?
See.
Then I won't delete it because now. What should I remember you as?
What?
No. No.
She's
No. You're still sucked up in either your academics or your profession. What should I write? I write people what they want to do. What's the time? You know? Atan? How should I remember you? Just a girl? Just like Mackenzie?
Very good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Harvard having a very good echo from all of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That's it.
That's it. Right? We just had lunch, no? About 2 hours back.
Actually, it reminds me of one thing, kind of. Just imagine that we have gone to a beautiful mountain top, and imagine you have a vast valley in front of you, and imagine that you were just standing over there on a cliff, and you were just saying, "Good afternoon." And obviously what happens is that we hear not one good afternoon, but many good afternoons. Isn't it true? But the question that comes to me is this: why this afternoon has to be good? Is it just a ritual? Is it just mechanical? Is it just one of the things that we have been doing many more times and now we are doing it once more? Or there is something very special about this afternoon that we are calling it a good afternoon? And to me it appears that indeed this afternoon is once only in our lifetime. You all agree with this?
Absolutely.
And not only that, if we can go a little deeper, we'll understand that this afternoon never come into our life, ever in our life. There's yet another aspect of this, that once this afternoon is gone, it will never come back to us again. Don't you think that adds a lot of dimension of something uniqueness and freshness and newness to it? Something that never appeared in our life, something that's never going to come back to our life, something that comes only one time to our life. The whole art of mindfulness is basically to understand this basic value of the presence, of the present moment. Because we get so much used to continuously living in our programmed lifestyle. As a result, what happens is that we miss the conscious part of our life, which according to the scientists and psychologists, they say it only represents 5% of our brain. Rest 95% of what we do day to day, every day in our life are mere repetitions. And we do it unconsciously. And we are continuously being influenced by collective unconsciousness. And that's the reason. Now, is it okay if I stand and talk?
Yes,
Yeah, that makes me feel good. But anyway, I'd love to share first and foremost my utmost sense of gratitude to Dr. Harleen. She's such a gift. Such a gift to all of us, such a gift to the world. I was just talking to her, I said, you are such a gift. And one thing she told me is that she's a channel. And so true. If there's one thing that we really want to realize in our lifetime, is to understand from where we draw all our energies. It is to understand that ultimately we do nothing. And so much is being done through us. That non-doership is the essence of anyone's life's journey. And I would like to take you for a few minutes into your inner being to a small little meditation session. Is that okay? That would be nice?
Yes, yes.
Could you please sit on your chairs with your legs back for a while? I'll take you to 3 stages. One, I'll suggest how you can relax your body. And then I'll take you to your breaths. And then finally I'll ask you to count 1 to 60. And then you will count like the ticking of a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how we go. Okay? So please close your eyes. As you close your eyes, you feel a deeper proximity to your own physical presence, your physical body. Feel your body from nearest proximity with your awareness and consciousness. Just scan your body from head to the toes by being completely relaxed. Collect your consciousness. Feel your inner essence. Feel that you are not just a flesh, blood, bones, an integral structure of the body, a vibrant energy, a vibrational being of light. And you are surrounded by light, the aura of your inner spirit. Just take your mind for a while to the topmost position of your body, the head, the skull, and completely relax to the hairs of your scalp. Now gradually bring your mind to your forehead and relax your forehead muscles. Gradually come down to your eyes. Feel your eyes. Relax all the tissues. And feel grateful that you are blessed with such beautiful eyes with which you can have the vision to see your loved ones and to see the myriad colors of creations. Feel deeply grateful to the Divine for the gift of your beautiful eyes. Gradually move down to your chest and to your chin. And relax all the muscles around your jaws. Our body always follows our mind's dictates. As you suggest, through your mind, words that the body only will follow, words that will relax every tense muscles of your body and gradually evoke the conscious awareness of the light that's within you and without you. Please try to feel deeply the tension of your neck melting away as you focus your mind on your neck. And come down to your shoulders and drop your shoulders, please. Just keep dropping and dropping and dropping and relaxing your shoulders. That's where you mostly hold your stress blocks. Gradually feel it's melting. Feel both of your arms. And for a while, just try to focus your mind to the center of your palms. Center of your palms. As you focus your mind to the center of your palms, you find some tingling sensation. If you can bring your attention to one place of your body at a time. Feel the tips of your fingers. You will really feel it's living with energy. It's a direct communication to each one of us that we are not just physical beings, but we are essentially beings of energy and light. Gradually move further down. Bring your consciousness to your shoulders. And down you go to your chest and your abdomen. Please try to follow as you breathe in. The chest rises and you breathe out, the chest falls. As it rises and as it falls. The whole universe is breathing through you. To be mindful of this one reality, that I am not breathing, that the whole universe is breathing through me. Gives me a complete different dimension of the entire magic of breath. Breath is magical. Just the rise and fall of these breaths in our body. Go down to your abdomen and feel the rise and fall there too, and relax all the muscles there. Gradually move down to your thighs, your knees, your calves, and your ankles. Follow to the toes and feel the soles of your feet touching the ground. It's not ground, it's Mother Earth. Mother Earth is holding you in her bosom. Express your deepest gratitude to Mother Earth for all the love, all her nourishment. She has been holding you, nourishing you, caring you, loving you. Express your gratitude. And move further. Now for a while, try to bring your mind to your nostrils. Take a couple of deep breaths at this stage. You take a deep breath now. And exhale consciously. Please try to take a breath, very conscious breath, inhalation, and conscious exhalation. Just being aware of your breath brings the mind to stillness. And when the mind is still, it opens up new horizons of creativity and innovativeness. Completely focus your attention to the incoming and outgoing breath, as if you are surfing your breath. With each incoming breath, you bring from the universe all the light, positive light into your body, into the cells of your body, so that each and every molecule dance with celebration of life, health and wellness. Gradually feel the calmness once, even for split seconds, when the mind unites with the breath. There is a stillness inside. And in that stillness, in that silence, is the language of the universe. There's peace. Peace surrounds us. Mindfulness is to be consciously aware of the life within and life without, the world within, the world without, everything that is the existence is our connection to our existential being within us. Now for a few minutes we just count 1 to 60. 60 minutes, 60 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Once you finish counting 1 to 60, bring your awareness back to your physical body. Express your gratitude to the whole of the universe. The most potential language of the universe is love and gratitude. love, and gratitude. Love and gratitude. Fill every cell of your body with infinite gratitude to the whole of the universe and all the elements of Mother Nature. All of them who have brought light into your life. All the teachers and the holy enlightened masters whose knowledge, whose wisdom have lit the path of your life. Express your gratitude for all that life has given you and express your blessings time by time. Gradually open your eyes, please. Thank you. That's a good idea. But I have her also feeling to speak also. I give her a chance.
Hi everybody. Subhash Sise. One of the things that I wanted to talk about mindful leadership, I will share with you not in the form of a lecture, but in the form of a story and in the form of experiences as this relates to the work that I do and also the people that I interact with. While we were going through the mindfulness exercise, some of the things that went through my mind was we normally, how many of you have done meditation exercise before? Okay, so the reason I'm asking about this is because a lot of times, actually give you a little bit of perspective. My work involves bringing emotional intelligence to schools in the form of programs. So the experiences that I'm going to share also involves with the work that I do with CEOs and board level members. So as you're doing that mindfulness exercise, we always come in conscious with our inner self. We come in conscious with what we want to do, you know, the purposeful breathing exercises that you're doing, exhaling and inhaling. So take yourself back to the work that you do every day as a mother, as a wife, as a corporate executive, or whatever role that you're doing. And you come in contact with that person who is in the place where they can do something for someone. So let's say your son comes to you and somebody picked on them on the playground. The mindfulness exercise then will tell you, okay, take a deep breath. I don't want to go and charge at somebody. But then you say, okay, what happened? Can you take me back to that moment? And then allow the person to give you examples before they engaged with someone and before somebody engaged with them. And then you try to take yourself back to that situation and see if you can help that moment. So if you take yourself back to the mindfulness exercise, you're getting in tune with yourself, then allow your son, thank you, allow your son or daughter to get back into that moment and then see if they can play back with you what was happening, what did they feel, what did they respond, what did they react, do they want to take back something? And then, once you see them doing that, you add whatever you want to add, but giving them the chance to take you back there. So mindfulness then becomes this exercise that I do, that I'm taking the breaths, that I'm mindful of where I'm sitting, and the earth is supporting me, but then you take it back to that need. If you're a corporate executive, and then there's a big decision that's supposed to be made regarding a department, regarding a person, and then you take yourself back to that moment where you're mindful of this situation, this problem, this person, this effort that could change the whole entire company or this individual person's life, and then write down what is important for you, for them, and what the decision will be for the other people. And then when you write that down, am I happy with this decision today? Take yourself away from the decision
if somebody is going to read this decision to me, and I'm in the crowd, how would I feel? And if my daughter is going to be the one who is going to be telling this news as a PR report and not myself, and they now have to read about this person and later find out that this person is their father, their mother, their auntie, am I going to be proud? And this is where mindfulness becomes, I made this decision because it's the right thing to do. I made this decision because anybody who is in my place with these facts, with this opportunity, will do this. And then that leadership in you, whether you're a mom who is helping the son decide with whom to get married to, whom not to get married to, which schools to go to, where you're just the person allowing a curious child go through this field of boundless opportunity. And then you let them fly. But in mindfulness, it's basically just taking what he just told us to the everyday level in whatever position you're doing, and then you just say, I feel this. I want to do this because it's the right thing to do, and now this is what I have decided, and I am happy with it, and I am in tune with that decision. So I will let him talk again, and I will share other specific examples of mindful nature.
I was just thinking of the little work that I have been involved in, women's empowerment. From the early 90s, I come from West Bengal in India, that's the Calcutta. And Calcutta is a place where there's a lot of poverty. Though it's called the city of joy, there's a lot of poverty around. In the villages, there's actual poverty in the villages. There's quite a lot of deprivation. One thing that's why I'm going to share this story with you is very simple. I basically believe that mindful leader is a person who has a vision more than anything else. And the one vision that by God's grace that I had is this, that charity is not the answer to anything to do with eradication of poverty. So the first thing that struck my mind, because I started with charity, and in a few months' time I realized that I'm walking on the wrong path. Because there was more and more and more expectations from everybody that I started giving and giving and giving, but nothing was solved, but things were getting from bad to worse. It was just like you learn, you put the finger to the fire, you learn it burns, and I burned my finger and learned charity is not the answer. Instantly I shifted, in those days, early 90s, into what I call as self-help groups through microcredit, because I'm an economics student, so I know microcredit is the answer to solution of any such problem. So when I went to the villages and I talked about this microcredit and talked about the self-help groups, women all in general, everywhere, they said, you are asking us to save money. This is funny, because we have no money. We have no money. Everybody said, we have no money, and you are asking us to save money. Because my idea was to them is just collect 10 rupees, 10 Indian rupees each, and then put it together, and then you pay the fund, and you start the bank account in your group's name. And thereby, what will happen is, as you go on adding your monthly contribution to it, over a period of time, your bank has a deposit. And out of which the banker will give them 4 times that particular amount of deposit, and you can draw that money and start your own entrepreneurship. In the meantime, we'll give you all vocational trainings that possibly you will decide what will suit you, not we will decide what should suit you. That was our understanding between we and them being one who had come to do some good work. Because my fundamental idea was this: if I go to any place and make them believe that I'm the person who's going to come to bring the change in them, I'm mistaken. Because only one thing that we always do when we go out with so much compassion for others, most of the times what we do is that we create a kind of sense of dependence. And that is variably creates another thing. It's almost like I'm going to a village and giving everybody a pair of crutches to walk. Pair of crutches to walk. That is like robbing their dignity. I always felt that every soul is essentially divine. So if every soul is divine, then there's no difference between my soul and that person who is receiving on the other end. So that I cannot do by which the dignity is robbed. Rather, I can do only that by which the dignity is re-established, reaffirmed, re-earned, rediscovered. So my whole task in the villages for years and years on has been only to raise the consciousness of the people to the level where they will assume responsibilities, and I can share this much with you. There has been such a tremendous transformation of the consciousness of the people. Villages after villages, families after family, because the first lesson that I gave to all of them, you belong to a small tiny little hut and you are dipped in poverty. One thing that you can do is that start believing that this whole village of 300 families are not separate families, but they are the extended family of your own life. Bring them all together, groups after groups after group, and let them comfort together, meeting together, and learn together, and sit together, and live. And then what happened? There was a wider family concept. And villages after villages went into that particular beautiful concept of one family. That's exactly what Arvind was talking about again and again. That maybe we have come to a state wherein we can't afford to be absolutely isolated, individualized, and only fan our greed and thereby see that only that is good, which is good only for me. So that barrier has to be broken. So vision that is really wanted at this point of time is this. The time has come for all of us to assess what has been the history of our whole world for the last 30, 40 years. The disasters in the leadership in every level of life has convinced us more than anything else is this, that there has been only one fault. You know what that fault is? The distance between the inner and the outer has only widened. That is the core issue in the whole world today. The distance between our inner world and the outer world has created a chasm, a huge gap. We have lost touch with our inner self. We have lost touch with our inner being. We are human beings. We are not human beings, we are humans. We have lost touch with our being. We don't know we have a being at all. Because to know we have being, we need to have an inner journey. We need to just close our eyes and like a diver, dive into the ocean of our body, mind, and see what is there at all. If there are sensations in our body. We live in our body, we do not know our body. We live in our mind, we do not know the workings of our mind. That 95% of our mind is nothing but programmed, robotical way of life, where we have hardly any chance. If I am really believing that I should take care of my anger, every time I say, I don't want to be angry, I become angrier, more angry. Every time I say something in my mind that I don't want to do, I am suggesting to my mind, do it.
Yes.
It's nothing but words that can change the world. And that has to start from within. Our inner conversation is very important. Most of us are lending our ears to outer conversations as social beings. But my only humble prayer to each one of you is that if we are to collect anything from this beautiful conference that we are here, it's like another Kumbh Mela, I see. You know, the confidence of 109 countries coming together, different cultures and different traditions, different faiths, different understanding, different concepts, but all of it has to merge. All of it has to melt. And what is that ultimate melding? That melting has to bring us to our inner essence. That deep down we all long for love. That deep down we all love for harmony, for peace, nothing more than that. That's the only thing that can satisfy. But that cannot come from our ego self. Ego is deceptive. Ego will never allow us to see the right as right. Ego will always divide and rule. Ego wants to always be a control freak. Only the inner, only there is something inside of us which we discover when at times we find time to just sit doing nothing. We are addicted doers. We can't stay for a minute without doing. We feel so helpless, restless. We just immediately flick the TV and see the TV screen without even seeing anything. But something has to go on. We have to do something or the other. But there is a life. There is a life. The enlightened, holy ones, coming from every different traditions of the world, irrespective, they have brought us a very specific word of wisdom. That when you look inside, you awake. When you look outside, you dream. My question is, how long are we to dream and daydream, thinking that we are achieving so much? So my humble prayer is this. Maybe the time has come for all of us to awake, to consciously awake to this basic fundamental fact of life, that we humans are born with a being. That's the reason we are human beings. Vis-a-vis all other species of life, we are exclusive. We are exclusive because we can be aware and conscious, while the others cannot be aware and conscious. Our brain has that one faculty by which it can self-introspect. We can look within ourselves and we can rediscover who we truly are. But all of it is not only an outward journey, it's an inward journey. One has to resolve today or tomorrow that happiness doesn't lie out there. It's not that we lost our happiness out on the streets or in some malls. We have not lost our happiness anywhere else other than our inner self. And one thing is very sure, if we have lost anything anywhere, we can find it only there and nowhere else. Isn't it? You agree? If I have lost something somewhere, I can go around the world, all the holy pilgrimages of the world, but I won't find it until such time I reach to that point where I lost it. I lost my happiness, peace, joy, harmony, everything that I long for, not out there. Though my only search and seeking has been out there. My whole life has been fixing the outside stuffs of life, not knowing that by fixing the outside, we never fix our life. Only the threshold goes farther and farther beyond our age. And a time comes when possibly we grow in age, when our body doesn't support us anymore, to take that deeper journey within. So time is ripe. Time is ripe because all over the world there is a huge transmission of power, of energy. There is transition of consciousness globally, I'm seeing. And I don't believe that the world is going from bad to worse, and that is too much gloom. I don't believe it. I rather see more and more light of the dawn is dawning. It's how you look at it. All over you just search the Google, you'll see so much information, so much is going on all over the world. Only to find out that inner core, that inner essence, that love. And mindfulness, each and every university in the United States, in all over the Europe, you find all the medical schools, all the universities, they are into study of mindfulness. Why? Because they've understood that if we are not mindful, there's only one alternative, we'll be mindless. It's not worth their life to be mindlessly. Because anger, let's say I was talking about anger. Anger presupposes that we have to have a complete clouded unconsciousness of our mind. Until the mind is completely unconscious, anger cannot emerge out of it. Anger can only be born in a space where there is complete unconscious. So first the cloud will cover your mind. You can't see through. That's the reason an angry person says so many things afterwards. You say, you said this. You say, no, I never did say this. I can never say this. It's true. Because at that point of time, there's a complete cloud that covers the mind. There's a complete unconsciousness that takes over that whole person. As a result, whatever he, she does, doesn't remember anymore. Culture of awakening to consciousness is through our daily, small, tiny, little practices of meditation and mindfulness. I often say that how beautiful it would be if you go to the shower and then do a mindful shower. It's beautiful, I'm telling you. Most people go, have their shower, come out without knowing they're shower. Most Most people go, sit down at the table, have their own food, not knowing they had food. Because they have been taking care since they were a small little child. They've been having shower every day, so what? Mechanical. What is needed is attention. 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 I'll give you a small little story. A Zen master, a lady, nun, she was dying. In her 80s or 90s possibly. And in the Tibetan tradition, when someone leaves the body, they're surrounded by disciples all around. So disciples were chanting mantras and all that. And this lady was sitting and she was supposed to pass over consciously. That's their tradition, because she was the master. Finally, once again, there is another tradition in Buddhist is this. Before any master passes over, then there is one thing. The disciple will go close to the ear and ask, what's your parting message? So one disciple came close to the master and said, Master, what's your parting message? She was quiet for some time. And then she opened her mouth and she said, attention. This disciple wasn't very happy because he wanted a lecture like what I'm doing now. Blah, blah, blah. So he wanted a blah, blah, blah. And she was quiet, sitting. And then after some time, he comes and says, Master, would you explain what you were saying when you wanted attention? There's a longer silence this time. And finally she opened her mouth and said, attention. And this disciple was kind of a little hungry. And again after a few minutes, he came out, can you just say something so that all can understand? It was a long silence. And she said, attention, and died. Attention, attention, attention. That's all we need in life. You can be a good leader, you need attention. Because the moment you have attention, the person who is standing in front of you is not a physical body. Emotion, intelligence, mental, emotional, intellectual, shits after shits you'll see. And as a result, your response to that person will be completely different. But the moment you see the fresh body, your reaction will be from periphery to periphery, not from center to center. But we are established in our center, not periphery. Periphery is our body, that's not who we are. We don't work from our periphery. Your heart is not on the periphery, which feels, which cries, which feels the agony, which feels the pain, the panic. All of it is inside. So the whole idea is this, that gradually we need to come back to our inner self. We just can't afford to, pass the days like mechanical robots. What we did yesterday, we do today, and we repeat it tomorrow. As a result, what's happening? One thing we are all missing in life. We are missing the present. We have been living the past, and we have been living in the future. But rarely did we find the moments when suddenly you are stunned into silence. Something you see, and somehow the mind stops. You're not thinking anymore. Maybe we are thinking too much. Time for all of us is to think a little less and find out the zones where our thoughts will gradually dissolve into silence. Because then the wisdom will come to us. The language of intuition comes when that silence follows, when the mind stills down. And one thing happens, when the mind is stilled, clarity comes. A foggy weather does not allow us to see through the fog what is in front of us. So also a foggy, clouded, frosted mind cannot allow us to see what we should do tomorrow, how we should react. Should we react or respond? Most of us react. We don't respond. Response needs awareness. Reaction needs no awareness. You say something and I felt it's wrong, instantly I tell you, you are wrong, sorry, and I hit you back. That is reaction. But that doesn't solve any problem, rather it intensifies and aggravates the problem. Reverse, if I'm practicing mindfulness day in, day out, one thing will happen. If I'm practicing meditation every day, even for 10 minutes, forget about 10 minutes, for 10 seconds, take cat naps of 10 seconds. I'll call it cat naps. Close your eyes, unplug, plug in just for 10 seconds, come out and face the world. it'll make a difference. Just unplug and plug yourself into your breath. Breathe consciously for 5, 10, 20 seconds and you find there's a change. Emotionally, you are very upset. You do not know what to do. You are in panic, disturbed, frustrated. What do? Still go on feeling the frustration with more words of frustrations? You are reprogramming yourself into deadly selves. The only thing is that withdraw from there. The consciousness has to be shifted from those thoughts into your breath. Because breath is magical. Breath is magical. The magic of breath has been the one thing that the yogis of our land have discovered millenniums back. And even today, the world accepts it as the way to live. To be conscious of the breath is to be conscious of the mind. Because mind rides on breath. Mind rides on breath. If you want to control the mind, I'm sorry, it will be difficult. But if you want to really manage to just put your mind towards the breath, it stills down. It is easier to bring your mind to stillness through the breath than mind to mind. So my humble suggestion is this, that in the positions of your leadership, you could be a father, you could be a mother, you could be a sister, you could be anything in this world, but everywhere is a question of leadership. Wherever you are showing the other person one characteristic trait by which you are one up, then you are definitely taking something towards a leadership position. Like if today Arvind has been one who had this vision that the women of the world has to unite together and then wake up. Wake up to what? That inner Shakti, that inner potential power, which is infinitely powerful. If we all can unite, there is going to be a change in the whole world because women are essentially the very essence of Shakti. The female principle, the mother, we are all born of the mother. And one thing is very sure, no one can take the position of the mother. She's one without the second. So, yes, if we want conscious management, if we want mindful leadership, and if we want any change in the family level, individual level, societal level, national level, global level, we have to start in our individual level first. I have to start with myself. And I have told you, years back, I went to the villages and started working with the women. And they are all united today. They don't depend on anybody else. Those women who said they don't even have 10 rupees with them to say, today they have lakhs. In Indian money we call lakhs, means 100,000s in the bank, in their own deposits. Lakhs and lakhs, and hundreds of thousands of rupees in their particular bank deposits. They have that. They have grown this over a period of time. And that's exactly what is the teaching that we want to share with the rest of the world. That each one of us have certain qualities, certain assets, certain things deep embedded inside of us. Only thing is that we are forgetful about it. Only thing is that we don't look at it. We don't explore it. We don't expose it. As a result, we keep talking about the lack and lackiness. So maybe we need to change our words. Maybe we need to change our thoughts. Maybe we need to change our beliefs. Because the world today has come to this understanding. Your thoughts and your belief can change everything. Your thoughts and your beliefs can change everything. Change you and change everybody around you. Only your thoughts has to be understood not as thoughts, but thoughts as vibrations. Either it will have a negative vibration or it will have a positive vibration. But every thought is not to be taken casually. Every thought has its own energy. Every thought has its own vibration. And every thought has its own frequencies. And let's always understand this fact. Every such energy has a matching energy. Every such vibration has a matching vibration. Every such frequency has a matching frequency. Like that, positive thoughts connects to all positive fields of knowledge, wisdom, and all that is good in this universe. Accordingly, we are instantly flooded with good ideas, thoughts, and concepts, and become good leaders wherever we are. We have a different body language. You'll find those people who are continuously worrying and in full of tensions, their faces are are so stressed out. And you look at those people who always leave everything to the universal forces. I'm fine, I'm just a channel. I'm not doing anything. Things have been done for me. This mindful statement makes a lot of difference. And I only believe that we, each individual, all of you, each individual, we can make a huge difference in life, provided we become day-to-day, small little chores, transferred into tools of transformation of our life. Thank you. Please answer your
Hello. So, going back to some examples, I'm going to tag right behind where he left off and where I also left off. Can you raise your hand if you can think of a person that has influenced your life, that has touched you positively, that has basically become a mentor, life coach, but you haven't designated them that title formally. Something about them, something you admire about them. Think about this and raise your hand if you want to share the characteristic of that person that you, okay.
Oh, I don't need that, I suppose. What?
No.
Great. Well, Calcutta. I'll share an example which touched, moved, and inspired me. In Calcutta, he said there's abject poverty. Yes, it is. But there is an abundance in the poverty also. That some people live in abundance while being a pauper. And I was touched, moved, and inspired by that person. There's a place known as Tollygunj, right? There's a beggar there. The guy begs. The beggar begs. We all know that, right? And in place, he has his own designated places where he goes to beg. Calcutta being a rice-eating population there, so he takes rice from those houses. And he keeps what he can consume for that day with himself, and rest he sells in the market. Right, listen to that.
Enterprising beggar.
No. There's something much more than this.
Yeah.
Today in Calcutta, there are 3 schools he's running where 600 students are taught free of cost. Now if a beggar can have that vision, what about me? So I belong to a very blessed state which is known as commercially success but intellectually nonsense. We are all commercially very successful, but as wisdom, we don't know. We don't understand the word W itself. Forget about wisdom. So for me, that's a pilgrimage. To go to his shanty, that's what they say in Calcutta. Right? He makes a cup of tea with his own hands, and surely it's not a beautiful tea. It's not hygienic. It doesn't come in good sauces, but that is pure nectar. When I feel blessed, when he teaches me what I didn't know. That's consciousness. That's celebration, sir. You don't need to go to temples. You don't need to go to any mosques or these holy places. You go to these guys, they're living legends. That's what inspired me. Thank you.
That's a very good story, and it's actually close to what I was going to talk to you guys about today. A lot of times we think when we work in an organization, the leader is going to set the direction for me. The leader is going to tell me what's right. The leader is going to tell me what I am obligated to do. Forget about those, the legal professional requirements that everybody is supposed to operate by in every organization, in whatever job you have. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a talent. When your company hired you, when your husband married you, when you had your children, there was something about you that you were supposed to bring to those relationships. The minute you tell yourself, somebody is going to tell me when I'm supposed to do the right stuff, or when this is supposed to be morally painful, or when I'm supposed to turn away, then you're telling yourself that you have turned something off inside of yourself, enough for you not to actually feel those things in the first place. So the example that he gave, the beggar has something in them that was irking them so much that they have to go beg. Just think about what somebody thinks about in their mind for them to stand somewhere and beg. Go past that, and then you got the money or you got the rice, and then you take it, use what you need, and then you sell the rest for something else. So taking it back to your life, your job, you're in a workplace. I'm going to share an example. There's a person who was supposed to be making a decision and then taking the report, going out to the field, collecting information, and then giving a presentation to their boss, or then maybe make a presentation to the board. When you take something from the findings from the field, because you want to censor it for your boss, and you want to censor it for the ones who need to actually make the decision, and then you don't give them that decision, then you took a part of yourself that is part of the equation, the formula, and then once you take away that equation or that formula, then the solution is not going to be complete because you removed a piece of the puzzle. So if you sit in a room where you're making a presentation, and this presentation is diluted so that way your boss doesn't get upset, so that your boss's boss doesn't get upset, and then so that your department gets saved and the numbers look really good and you fluff it. We all know what I'm talking about. That minute you do that, you're saying that that part that I'm responsible for does not matter. That talent that I have to show my boss, to awake my boss, to awake my spouse, to awake my child, it's not necessary. It's not that important in this puzzle. So when I remove it, the other people's formula is enough for this whole thing to go on. That's basically what you just said. So don't feel like that field presentation that you're going to bring to your boss. Let your boss know, lay it out gently, give it to them, show them everything. When he decides, I'm not going to tell the boss, that is his decision. Next time you have the opportunity to go present, next time you have the opportunity to go find another project, they will know that you're not going to mess with this person because I'm not going to ask them to do anything otherwise. But regardless of your position in the corporate, in your family, with your relationships with your sisters, take the role of, I will give you the facts. I will give you what I know. It's up to you to use it. It's up to you to leave it. But you will see it, and when you need it, you will take it. And that is your job. That is your tool. That is your talent in whatever you do. And the mindfulness that we're talking about. The programs that I bring to schools and to families for engaging them in emotional intelligence, many times we have parent series, and then you'll have a parent that says, well, but my husband does not really feel emotionally, he's just there. What do you expect? I was part of a study with Harvard Medical School. One of the things that we found out was every time in every culture, in every social environment, when you hear a big loud bang and it's a group and there are some men, we will look to the guys to go find out what it is. No, we will, because muscles, you might be able to handle what's out there. And the minute you hear an emotional situation, in between relationships and everything, the fathers or the men in the group would expect and hope the mother will run first and deal with it before they get there. So those basic understandings are there. It doesn't mean that the man doesn't know how to deal with this crisis. It doesn't mean he doesn't know how to tell somebody properly, oh, accept my condolences, this is so sad, sorry for your loss. The thing they think about before they say that doesn't mean that they're not capable. So the study then says, if you take 100 people, male and female, and you put them through a high-powered leadership job and a training, leadership training, and then, all right, very good. So basically the study then said that Men and women are equally able to emotionally engage and to emotionally feel each other. You train them equally at the top level, you will not know the difference who have the tendency naturally in a social setting. We're all able to have it. Just tune into it.
I said it's socialization that determines the whole thing, on how you react and how you bring up the girls and the boys to become women and men.
Yeah, that's from the last session we were in. Exactly, that session was talking about that. Absolutely, absolutely. That's true. That's very true. Yeah, questions for us and statements and conversations. Yeah. If you have any, yes, in the back. This person in the back. Sorry.
One of the challenges that I'm facing in Australia is the connection between emotional intelligence and economic advancement. I believe that there is no variance. Convincing the corporate world of the need to introduce lots of emotional intelligence in companies, I think is paramount. I think it's actually, they'll actually make more money if they actually understood it. Can you share your thoughts on how we can press emotional intelligence in the corporate world? It shouldn't be you have that or that.
Actually,
Do you understand my question?
That's a good question. I just did a project with Shell, and the project basically was that they found out that they have hired some really top-notch engineers, and these engineers basically were the top of their game when they hired them, top 5 in their schools when they graduated. And when they took them to the rigs, they can only get about 57% output of them. Whether the team wasn't right, and the team leader who was with them, whatever the situation was, they just couldn't go past that stage. So the person responsible for this team heard the project that I was doing with the teachers. And we did a 6-month study with them. And during that time, we took the people on a training for all 8 competencies of EQ, and also finding out the objective of their department, and actually the person's purpose, why they chose Shell, and why did they choose that department. And at the end of the 6 months, they actually had a 115% output. Shell now has a department called resilience, employee resilience, and it's all based on some of the things that we found there. I worked Domino's Pizza. I take pizza to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and responsible for the supply chain in that area. My role there was not to do anything emotional intelligence. This was my passion, it's the business that I held. But the things that I was learning outside of Domino's, I brought it into the work, and every CEO that I came in contact with bought it. They saw it. Yeah. And I also shared with them my findings with all the other projects that I'm doing. And I think people are afraid to go to the boardroom to say, look, this is our numbers, this is the meat and potatoes of the company, the sales are going to come, this is our product. Let's focus on the training, let's focus on the people. There are a lot of, pardon my friends, sucky managers, but the minute we start accepting it, that means we will do inventory on every manager, and sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, they may not be ready for this. That's why emotional intelligence stays under the bottom line, because nobody wants to talk about it. If you're comfortable in your numbers and you're hitting your targets, most of the times the pressure is off your back from your boss. So once you're bringing those numbers, you think you're safe and you don't have to talk about it. But the people that are boring off or going to other companies, nobody's talking about it. They look at it as a loss. But EQ will become part of the bottom line, and we will talk about it because times are changing. Yes.
So, thank you, speakers, Swami Shuddhananda Brahmachari and Ms. Sukash Desai for the informative, basic, eye-opening and soothing speech. And I call upon Professor Dr. B.B. Kaliwal, Vice Chancellor of Davangere University, Karnataka, to present our words for both the speakers. Mr.
Before I give the awards, basically I am a scientist and worked on the yoga, meditation and human health, and how the yoga and meditation coincides with the health of the woman, especially how it links between these three. So the brain is a wonderful structure where we have 200 centers in the brain, and every center will work wonderfully for the betterment of the man. And here beautifully he has narrated. I will tell you, in my life, the best manager is the mother. So the mother is the best manager, and the whole life she sacrificed for the betterment of the family, to the state, even to the nation. So everything mainly depends upon the mother. And where lot of things she do, lot of things she gives sacrifice, like for the development. And wonderfully, both of them have just heard the lectures and beautifully narrated the consciousness, the mindful leadership and the consciousness management. So management is the best, even mother is the best manager, I will tell you. She manages wonderfully, and if you give 10,000 rupees to her and 5,000 FD she will keep. The same thing you give 10,000 to father, he will ask another 10,000 to spend. This is what we have seen. Beautifully manages, and now the mainly nation is depends upon the mother challenges. Thank you very much. I am so happy and delighted to give the memento for both the speakers.
Thank you, Ananda. Next session is on the social stewardship in business. The lead speaker is Dr. Ronnie Starr.
Yeah, we still have 15 more minutes left till we start, right?
I'm just announcing because of this.
Yeah. Put it for my
Giving the counter if you ask for
No, but when you're discomplete, send it. Do everything, then hope it will work.
like to talk to you more. You were saying something about social. Yes, it's earlier, in the 20s, they called it social. It's different. It's different because when they
And next time, let's meet.
Can enlarge it a bit more.
No, you start my woman.
Yeah, how much, who is going to do the timekeeping? Are you doing or am I doing?
I shall wait for a few more minutes. Let the others.
Yeah, it's 4:15 or so.
Panel speaker. One more speaker. That is panel. Is Gabriel. Gabriel. The other two are not responding. We have requested a lot.
Okay.
Lily. 1 minute. Okay.
And I also have another one going on Wednesday. Very good.
She said that she'll come. She'll come.
So how many people are coming? Two more?
This
Or
one more reservations.
Gabriel.
Maybe she is 17.
but only one person?
Yes,
The
but
rest are not?
should be here.
She'll be here if she told you.
Yeah, but the rest
Yes.
are not arrived.
They're not communicated with us actually. We
Okay.
mailed everything. This and this.
Okay, so we're only two.
Yeah, we don't know they're checking or not.
Okay.
Let them, they will arrive.
Okay.
So one more thing, this charger.
ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಫುಲ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಾರ್ಜರ್ ಇದೆ
You won't spoil it. All right. I know. So I'll wait for the shout out.
Right now, I was mentioning the research that the guy was talking about.
That's at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same research that I've been doing, but I've been doing it as an evaluation. So I mean, my chapter was much smaller. So I was doing that.
वो लिखा तो फिर ये देना ठीक है
Yeah, I just get from and they are doing non-use listing for the government. And it has one and it's been extended, so they're sort of providing proof that it's working. So I think that we're really doing the research. Lots of places. It depends.
I didn't think that was going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I know. It kind of did. Yes, right now
Where were you born?
in the city.
Oh, wow.
But then I went back to
6 months ago, we trained them on how to get up to the field.
There will be more.
I have Canadians that they can have social enterprise. It's not limited to that. No, it doesn't come to that. They will always be where they are.
So, and I've not started, should I open this policy? So I was going to or should I let this
Do you push the tree to produce fruit?
Charity that just wants to produce very
It'll produce a lot more fruit than you
Yeah, so Amazon Rainforest working with building women's empowerment center. And I thought I should go there for a week and learn from this empowerment center. And it was really cool. I've been to Ecuador, Kenya, and now Ethiopia. Yeah, absolutely. So what this is meant to do is create like the support groups that they can work together and have a visit. So in Rajasthan, we have a register so we do that. But then also the villages and stuff. So it's although we also yeah, so we build new schools. So I'm part of the organization so
how many just know that we should we are in existing, it's like 2 hours to see that we were in the team
I was working also.
I'm not.
I was working also. About 2 hours for the
I helped women start businesses. But well, it's kind of been both, but with this social enterprise
You never know.
so I'll do the process. I literally spent a day in the life of no. I probably would be sitting here. No. I probably would be sitting here having this conversation.
So what am I going to do? Never know although a lot of women but the filters are
It's okay.
She's there. She's there. Please welcome.
Please welcome.
I see different title and I think that
This is the SOLD, Social Relations Stewardship and Business.
I'm here.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shall start the session. The main speaker, the session title is Social Stewardship in Business, and the lead speaker is Dr. Ronit Kar from the Social Organization Group, the Department of Psychology, Israel. Now, I'm about to start the session. Ma'am, please.
Okay. Which one? This one?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
can I just see it?
Yeah, sure.
Is it okay?
You can.
Okay.
I love it.
Good. So, who's the other presenter? She didn't realize.
She's panelist.
Where is she? Where is she? Is she?
I forgot to welcome you. Just go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. So. Okay. So this session is Gabriela Estova, right? Sabova? Yes. And I will be speaking. The rest of the panelists did not come, so we can have more time for discussion. And if we want, we can finish earlier, depending on what the audience would like. So I would like to start with the name that was actually given by the conference, and not by myself, about social stewardship. So I wanted to look up what stewardship means in terms of writing, and what I found was that it's an ethics that enables the responsible planning and management of resources. So I want to talk a little bit about a program which I initiated, which tried to make good use of organizational resources. Now I think a lot of times we started as activists, as women or men activists that are trying to change the world. I think we start with things that are bothering us on the personal level. So I studied for a long time feminist theory, and I thought it was one of the most intriguing theories, it's not one theories that I ever studied. But after I studied it, I started having a lot of trouble thinking how to implement it in my life, in organizations, among my friends, and I'll give you just a very, very small example. For example, I had somebody who was helping me with the cleaning in the house. And she came from a different country in the world, so she could be coming from Russia or from the Philippines. Now, after you learn about post-colonial theory, about how the first world is exploiting women of the third world, how women are exploiting other women, so what do I do now? Do I fire her and clean my own house? Do I take an Israeli Jewish student to clean the house and give her the salary? Do I pay her my own salary? Do I give her days off? Okay, I know the theory, now what do I do with it? It really comes up to a very big dilemma once we start working. Now the second dilemma I was bothered with is that I went to work in an organization, which is Bar Ilan University, and this is a Jewish religious university. And it was quite traditional in many ways, and I'm a secular Israeli, and I didn't come from the same tradition, and I felt more open-minded than my surroundings. Yeah.
Can you talk this side so that this is online streaming so that you can look better?
Okay.
Yeah, this is
From
a
the TV.
webcam.
Like
right?
this?
Yeah, something. Because afterwards you can see the YouTube, that's why.
Right, okay. So maybe move just the camera somehow.
All right.
So, or put it over there. Maybe you can put the camera over there. Anyway, so the question was actually, how can I stay at such a university? And one of my ideas was actually to change the university. So I tried to make use of the resources I had in order to change the organization. And what I did was initiate a program. It's called Gender in the Field. And I want to tell you about the way we worked and the way we started thinking about social change. So just a few very short words about the program. So the program was a program that looked at academia and the practice at the same time. And we have about 12 to 20 students every year. One former student of ours is sitting here, Manal Shalabi. She was not in the Gender in the Field. There wasn't that track at that time, but she's a former student of our program. And we had students coming from a very wide variety of the Israeli society, Palestinian women, ultra-Orthodox women, secular women, women who are 25, women who are 60. So we had a very big variety of students. And they took upon themselves projects in the field, but in a very big variety of organizations. And we used the team as a working group, as an inclusive laboratory. Now I want to mostly tell you about the way we worked with the women and the thoughts we had about our social activism. So the concepts we started working with were dilemma versus paradox. I think we all, when we try to do social action, we carry on our backs a lot of stuff. And we have a lot of dreams and a lot of plans. And it's really a very hard problem to balance all this together. We usually think in a dilemma mode. When we think in a dilemma mode, dilemma comes from Latin, and it's a double proposition. So it's two things that are seemingly contradictory, and what we have to do is choose in between them. And usually, both choices are bad. Whereas a paradox is interrelated elements that appear at the same time. Now, what happens is that a lot of today's literature on leadership talks a lot about how leaders can move forward organizations by holding on to paradoxes rather than dilemmas. Because when we try to make a decision for one side or the other, so what should I do with my home health? Or what should I do with my role in the university? It's actually, if I try to think of it in a frame of dilemma, I'm bound to lose, because I probably won't get a right answer on this. So I brought all these Indian images of these balancing acts, of putting together sort of the need to stay and the need to move. And the question was, how could we take our students from a paradigm of either or to a paradigm of both and to keep the balance? And we see that it's not an easy move to keep the balance, at least with this rickshaw, and I can tell you a lot of time in social activism, it's the same story. So I want to give you a few examples of what I mean and what happens in activism. And I just, in the former panel was just now in, I could also hear a lot of hints about this. First of all, a lot of self-organizing activist organizations try to build an organization that doesn't have structure because they're against the power relationship and they try to erode the power relationship. But what happens when we have an organization that doesn't have a structure? Then another type of structure emerges. So maybe women that are more famous, or maybe women that have more power, or if it's in Israel, maybe it's the Jewish women and not the Islamic women, that all of a sudden gain power. So although this is a structureless organization, there does become a structure. So the question is, how can we work with this? How can we, so do we now not intend to build structureless organizations, or do we try to work differently with the construct? To reveal or conceal. Many times we come and we have a feminist project, or we have certain aims. And a lot of times we try to conceal our aims, because if the organizations would know, and sometimes the people, or certain people in the community, what our real aims are, they might not want to work with us. Like, for example, a lot of my students struggle with the word feminism. Okay, so they want to change the way people think. They want to link it to feminism, but they know that if they go into an organization or if they go into a community and say, we came here to do feminist work. So for example, I have a group of women in my class that are ultra-Orthodox Jews that are trying to change the parliament in Israel because there's only men, ultra-Orthodox men in politics and non-ultra-Orthodox women in politics. So they're trying to get ultra-Orthodox women to run for politics. But if they say this is a feminist organization, then people will refrain from talking to them. So they try to hide the word. But if you hide the word, then actually you're repeating the existing situation. So this is exactly, again, sort of a tension, that the question is how you manage it. The empowerment trap. For example, in the last session I went to, a lot of people talked about how you empower women of Rajasthan. Okay? Now, who is to empower whom? Who has the power to empower other people? When I come to empower other people, does that mean I have more power and they're less power? Do I empower them based on the way I think society should be built, or do I really understand, can I come as a Western woman to empower women in another society? Now, I'm not saying I cannot, but I also don't want to say I can. And that's how to keep on the paradox, how to think this aloud, and how to keep tackling this the whole time and sort of have a dialogue on this, ongoing dialogue the whole time, not saying, so one of my students writes this essay, how she came to these women who she saw as less privileged in Jaffa, in the south of Tel Aviv, a very big city, but has poor neighborhood at the south of the city. And she started working with the women there and telling them her success story and how she also used to be less privileged and how she went to study. But then she said, why am I telling them my story? As if my story is their way out, but I came from a different background and I came from a different trajectory, and if I tell them you can do what I did, she wasn't sure this was going to work, this was going to do, or other times she found herself blaming them for their situations, which is a lot of times things that happen that we think they're not active enough, they're not taking enough responsibility. Another type is the resource dilemma. For example, I'm a part of the Women's Film Festival of Israel, and in the Women's Film Festival, which is a wonderful entrepreneurship, that we try to show films that were only made by women around the world, and there's very, very few films around the world that were made by women, although usually women are the ones who decide, even in a family, which movies we should go and see. But you all should look at the Bechdel test, and you will see that most films don't have women that have names, or don't have women that talk to each other about something other than men. And most of the, just this simple test, Bechdel test, look it up, most of the films don't pass this test. Now, so we try to bring only films that were not feminist films, it's films made by women directors. Now, we needed a lot of money, because you need money to buy the films that you could show. But, so we had L'Oreal saying, okay, we will give money, but you have to put a stand outside selling cosmetics of L'Oreal. Now, the CEO of this entrepreneurship, she said, I don't want women to have this image. So I actually don't want this money, because I don't want women to be coming to a film festival to hear women's voices, the way they think about filming, different voices and images, and then have again the same image of a certain look that you have to go by. So she had decided, the CEO, I'm on the board, but she had a very, very strong decision not to take funding from this type of work, and even at the cost of closing the festival. So it's always a dilemma. Should we close the festival? Should we take money from resources that we don't believe are the resources we should be taking money from? One or two small other, but the men question. Should we have men when we organize with us? On the one hand, of course, they have the power a lot of times. In organizations, they can make changes, which a lot of women can't make because they're in the higher positions. On the other hand, once we put in the men, they take more time for talking. They sometimes influence more the decisions. Women change their voices. They can't talk about the same issues. So should we be working with men, or should we be working with men? A lot of my students are struggling with sharing of their knowledge. We've learned a lot of things, or we initiate a program, and we have unique knowledge. Should we share it with everybody? Should we take ownership over our knowledge? Now, all these dilemmas are feminist dilemmas. The two poles of the dilemma are both feminist thinking. On the one hand, I think women should take credit for their work, for their ideas, for their initiatives. On the other hand, I think women should share, and women should give to other women. And I really love the knowledge use that women do. Like, I always laugh, I don't know how it is in your countries, but it's probably the same, like in academia where I work. If you cite somebody, you always cite that same person. But when you have cooking notes, like if I make a cake and I took it from Aura, in my notebook it will say Aura's banana cake. And if Debbie takes my cake, in her book it would be Ronit's banana cake. So the knowledge is spreading, it's not staying with one specific person. So should the students share the knowledge and not get any credit for their knowledge? So these are the dilemmas that women working in the field are struggling with the whole time. And what we tried to develop was a way of thinking of working with a paradox. Not ignoring these dilemmas, not making decisions to one pole or another, but rather sort of trying to keep the dilemma and work with it. So, two organizations I'm working with, this is the Women's Film Festival and this is Studio of Our Own for religious Orthodox women in Jerusalem. So for example, this was initiated by one of my students. It's for Orthodox Jewish women, and we always had this dilemma, should it be only for Orthodox Jewish women? What about the Muslim women? Shouldn't they be a part of this group? But then the Jewish women say, but we need our own space, we need our own, but this is exclusive of other women. So one way, for example, of tackling this paradox was that we're now initiating a lot of projects that are collaborative projects between religious Muslim women and this group of Studio of Our Own. But a lot of times we were struggling with the question. This Women's Film Festival, the municipality in which it was run, they didn't like this poster. They didn't want us to put this poster. They thought it was an aesthetic, they thought it seemed non-religious or something, and they banned the poster. Should we agree to this and have the film festival and put a poster that they agree with? Should we say, this is our poster, we don't care, don't give us the funding for the film festival? Okay, so these are part of the things we're struggling with this whole time. And because this was a session on businesses, I want to also share with you a dilemma in the private sector that a lot of time arises. This is an organization of fashion in Israel, a leading one, Comme Il Faut, and they make a lot of money and they do very nice design, and they do a lot of feminist commercials, which are beautiful commercials. For example, the women eating campaign, women are allowed to eat whatever they want, open big mouths, eat in public, it's fine, it's okay. So they had this. Women are allowed to grow older and still look good and still be dressed. Women can network, not only men, and they have relationships, and they can also use their networks for business benefits. And women are not, this was about women's works being transparent. So women can work and we can give visibility to their work. It's not, doesn't have to stay transparent. But this organization sells every shirt or skirt for so much money that most women cannot buy the clothing of this firm from their own salaries. Only women, most of the women, I guess, that buy there are married to rich men. So are they making bad use of feminism for sales? Are they actually making good use of their money to change the way people are thinking about the world? I can't give you a correct answer about this dilemma. So me and my two other students who are now finished their PhDs, who are working with me in this developing this course, we tried to think about this paradoxical frame and how we should keep talking to our students about these paradoxes and have them make every decision they have to make still thinking about these paradoxical frames. And we thought that paradoxes, they encourage dynamic multiplicity of thoughts and action. They allow to restructure and shift and change all the time, because if we keep looking for the balance, we're changing the way that we're doing things. We might not be solving our problems, but we keep working with these tensions. We were worried about the stuckness, because a lot of times when there's these contradictions, people feel they're stuck. And our idea was how you could keep moving without becoming stuck, although you could see the paradox at every moment. It's something very related to Eastern theories and Eastern thinking. It's less in sync with Western thinking, but how can we keep working without being paralyzed by the dilemmas, but still being engaged and still moving forward? So this is some of the balancing acts, you know, that Indian women and other women around the world have to do. And we thought that by holding on to the tension between theory, as I said before, and practice, by holding on to the tension between different hierarchies, between different power relations, this can actually be very creative. People can think of new ideas. We can think of new suggestions of how we can actually do things. We also thought that women a lot of times are accused of not being good leaders because they're not able to make decisions, because they're not thinking in a linear way, because they're not thinking hierarchically, because they're thinking more circular, because they're not, you know, saying this is the way it should be done. But if we're thinking in a paradoxical frame, which today if you read the leadership literature, HBR, Harvard Business School, all the different Academy of Management, they're all talking about the new age of leadership as paradoxical leadership. So actually in that sense, maybe this circular, non-decisive way of managing things might also make women feel that they know how to do this, that they can lead, and that in order to lead, you don't have to make choices between dilemmas the whole time, but rather you have to hold on to this, embrace it, and see how you can work with it over time. Just a few closing notes. First of all, we worked as a team, and one of the things that always interested us was our different backgrounds. So we always taught this course, this practice course, as two women. We were always different, so one could be straight and one lesbian, one could be religious and one could be secular, one could be a man and one a woman. We always tried to work on our differences and bring them into the class and not say there is one correct answer to the way that things could be done. We wrote about being fruitfully uncomfortable. Okay, so we tried to make each other uncomfortable, not being the whole time in a very comfortable, balanced, way, but actually really to challenge each other with the students within the class. But we also tried to build a safe space for the women in the class to explore, to think, for us to, critique things, rethink things, critique the organizations the women were doing. For example, like if a woman would be in your organization, we would probably talk in the classroom about critiques we would have, about dilemmas, about what it means to come from Canada to Ecuador to Rajasthan. We would be debating this within the classroom and rethinking this. What would it mean to do the research that you tried to do in Rajasthan versus an Indian woman or man doing the same research, and what's the meaning of that, etc. So we tried to build this paradoxical laboratory for these ideas. And I want to end with the song of Yehuda Amichai, who's a very famous Israeli poet, who wrote that a place where we are right is hard and trampled, like a yard. But doubts and loves dig up the world like a mold, a plow. So this is our perspective about how we think feminist and social activism and stewardship should be done. I also hope to rethink what I'm doing the whole time and keep this paradoxical, playful frame of thinking. Thank you. So should we open up for questions, or do you want to talk and then we'll take...
Whatever you decide.
Is your topic related?
Yes.
So maybe you should talk, and then if it's related, we can have a discussion.
Okay, I won't speak a lot. Just when I wanted to present, I wanted to speak about the new value, changing the value of money. So my name is Gabriela. I'm coming from Bulgaria, and I'm one of the founders of Impact Hub Sofia. Maybe some of you know what Impact Hub is. But I will tell for the others who don't. Impact Hub is a network of locations all over the world. It's like a co-working space, a place where people gather and create positive impact on society, on the environment. So I want to say some experience I had just before that. I have been working with social business and social entrepreneurship for 6-7 years now. And I have been involved in one startup 2 years ago. Bulgaria is very, now it's very developed, the entrepreneurship. There are funds that are financing lots of entrepreneurial projects. So I have been in one startup like this. It was called Teach Me, and it was a time bank platform where people were exchanging different knowledge that they have or different expertise. You exchange, you don't give money, you give your time to somebody else. So we had this kind of let's say, an argument with the other co-founder, because he wanted, of course we both wanted to change the world, but he was thinking that money should disappear from Earth and we should just exchange time, and that money are evil, let's say it like this. It's connected with the paradox you were saying about. I wasn't feeling quite good during our work together because I didn't believe so much. I don't know why. I didn't believe that we should get rid of the money. I was thinking that if we want to change the world, it has to be with some kind of it's a process. It's a transition. It's a slow transition. You cannot just remove them completely. So more what I was thinking actually, and then I decided to stop with this project, was that we have not to get rid of money, but we have to change the value we are putting in money. We have to ask ourselves when we are giving money and when we are giving salaries, for example, the managers out there. When we are giving salaries, why are we giving money for these people or for these services? Is it making the world some better place, let's say, more idealistically? That's why I decided, to stop wanting to change completely, this more, how to say, activist thing, which is one way or the other. I also believe in balance between business and social, between doing business and being responsible, let's say, being impactful, bringing positive impact on your work. And at the same time, balance is actually paradox at the same time. Because, for example, we have also this kind of question. Now, the Impact Hub is working with lots of businesses. Our main reason is to make the business more social, to make them more, to increase their positive impact, more changing the mindset of the business. Not only do some corporate social responsibility thing and give some charity, no, just changing the mindset of the people. And we have also this question arising. Now we want to work with different companies, let's say. We want to partner and to to have sponsorship even, or to be funded by different companies. So in Bulgaria, because in Bulgaria we are Eastern country, and we are, let's say, 90% in the gray economy. Lots of most of the businesses in Bulgaria. Now it's not that much, but just recently, till recently, Bulgaria was in the gray area, like the place where all Europe is washing their money. And in Bulgaria, if you want to be, how to say, there is this conflict. If you want to be pure, for people to believe you that you're not taking some dirty money, for example, or you have to be really, really pure. So I was asking myself, how can I be pure, for example? How can our organization be pure if we want, for example, for Coca-Cola to be our sponsor, let's say like this. Everybody will say, okay, Coca-Cola, we all know that they're not doing good for society, they're not, they're social responsible, they have some kind of social responsibility, but the product is bad for your health. How can you get money from them? They're just washing their money and they just want to increase their image. And at the same time, I was thinking a lot about this question because it was bothering me. I didn't know what side should I take in this. And then I understood something else, that if you want to change, of course you won't work with the purest of the pure. You won't work with the organizations that are already doing their stuff for society and for the environment. You will do it with companies which are not doing it. So you will work with companies that are, how to say, that are evil. Yeah, let's say, but it's a really generic, like generic. It's not exactly evil, but yes, they're not doing good, let's say. Of course, you have to work with this company because you have to change their minds so they can bring the positive impact. And the companies that are bringing positive impact most of the time, they will do it anyway. So we need to increase it. So this is what I wanted to say, that if you want to change, something, it's not just to to do it, to completely remove it, or just say, no, this is not true, we have to do it in another way. We have to slowly transition, everything is a process, slowly transition from the mindset. How are we doing the business? Because money, like everything else, is energy. It's just a tool. So it depends how you use this tool. If you use it for social good, your money will be, they will have different value. If you do it for some bad stuff, or if you do it just for the money won't have value at all. So this is what I want to say.
Great, thank you. That was nice. Questions, discussions, critiques? Yes.
Meanwhile, I just want to confirm these two panel speakers are here.
Are they here?
Ms. Jane Ward and the other one is
Okay,
Ms.
is
Asawari.
that you, the two of you?
Ms. Jane Ward.
Who is Jen Moore?
Ms. Asawari Salman.
Are they here?
No,
No.
they're not. Okay.
They're not. Okay. So, yeah, you had a question.
Actually, I'm sorry I bumped in late.
Yeah.
I was attending another session.
It's fine.
And so I
It's
don't
allowed.
know enough about what you already talked. I'm actually dealing in sustainable replicable living for the 21st century. Why sustainable? I think because there's no way open, which is not so open. Replicable is because we don't have too much time. We're already 8 billion people on the planet. And in the past 1 century, we are about 6 billion people. But the data continues. That's why it's bad. Number 2 is that everybody wants to think like, live life the way the Americans do. And Americans are roughly about 3% of the global population and consume about 24% of the resources. So it is obviously unsustainable. The other issue basically is how do we make sure that the earth is sustainable? Because if it is not, then we've got a planet very close to Earth called Mars. And people tell me a couple of X billion years or million years ago, it was inhabited. I'm not an astrologer or anything, but probably is reasonably. So in case we want at least 3 generations from now to be alive on this planet, we don't have a choice. How do we make this change? And I think this is what we're talking about. Any ideas, any suggestions?
Okay. I think it's an open question. I'm not going to answer this, giant question of how do we make the world sustainable, but we can have a conversation, and if other people want to relate to the topic, you have an answer.
There is, I speak really loud, so I don't think. So I think that what you're asking is like the ways, what methodologies or what concepts can do this, and it depends. What do you mean by sustainable? Do you mean that it can support itself with the money it gets, or the impact that it will have, even in the mindset, it will be sustainable, like it will stay? What do you mean?
Okay, actually, what I mean is much simpler than what you're talking about. I'm talking about something. Look, we got this room, we got X resources available. Fine. If you got, let's say, 10 people here, they consume them in, let's say, 1 year's time. You got 100 people here, they consume them in 1/10 of that time. And that's exactly, if you put the planet as this room, which it's fairly insulated and isolated from the rest of the solar system and the world, then can we afford to do whatever we are doing in life? And if it can't, what are the consequences of not being able to do it? Stop it. Pretty serious. Now, nobody I notice, at least I don't think too many people think, everybody thinks about how do I make more money or how do I get a bigger house or a bigger car, all that stuff. But nobody is concentrating on making sure that we are going to be around here as a species to be able to enjoy the bigger house. And if you don't do that, you end up trouble. So how do we change the global thinking and our individual attitudes to hopefully understand the problem and start working in that direction?
There is, just one thing which is concrete. There is now, it's very popular now, the concept of the growth. The concept of the growth. Have you heard it in the space? The problem of the concept of the growth is to start doing business and to start doing business without aiming to develop a lot, but to keep one particular level, not wanting to develop more, but just to be, like we say, sustainable. I think that this is the way that we can change the current situation, because we are developing pretty fast, and the human mind, in our own personal lives for 60, 70 years, we cannot develop like that fast. So I think that if we start following the concept of the growth, we can come, let's say, like more visual, we can come down and we can start thinking what is happening more, with more wisdom.
But I can say you're challenging me, so I will give it a try and say that using the critical perspective that I presented here, using the critical perspective I presented here, I would ask, what does it mean to sustainability of the world? 1,500 people coming to this conference, flying all the way to be in a 5-star hotel that's air-conditioned, that's very expensive. How is that contributing to the is it contributing enough? Is it not contributing enough? And these are the type of questions I would ask if I was engaged in sustainability of the world. So I was talking about how I work with my students. This would be one of the questions I would ask my students if that was their project. Yeah.
If I can relate to what you say, I feel if I can relate to what you mentioned now, I think it's a lot about awareness. Because for me, it's awareness. Because for me, when I first came to India, what bothered me the most is what happened in a third world country, not just in India, that in one way people adapt all the new, what you see in a modern country, like package, like new product and whatever it is, but they are not capable to deal with the garbage that it's created. So people have to be more, like even people in India or in other places, in the West, people are more capable, the municipality is more capable to deal with the garbage. Here, the problem is that, and then you have to understand the value and the benefit. And as much awareness that people have, then they will adapt the good thing and avoid the bad thing that the West do.
Okay, thank you.
What is good news?
Okay, this is a good question as well. You don't see everything in the West as a good. There are good things in the East and you have to keep it. Or in the old world that you need to keep them. And this is, that's for me, sustainable. That means sustainable. To keep your own tradition, your own, the culture itself, and not adapt everything that comes from outside.
Wait. Okay. I'm giving the permission for talking.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sue. I live in Singapore. I work in brand insight strategy, and I found brand insight and strategy and innovation. And I found your paradox questions really fascinating. You know, in what we should always be asking ourselves, and particularly if we've been doing so many campaigns of empowerment for women, etc. So what I'm really curious to understand is the students in your course, what sort of careers are they taking and pursuing afterwards to be able to impact the world with, you know, this great thought provoking?
Thanks. I think people can make, our perspective in the program is that wherever you are, you can make change. So if you're working in a branding organization, not even doing campaigns about women's empowerment, you could still look at what the branding organization is doing, the structure, the diversity, the rights of the people, who is being encouraged and who isn't, how can you change the way the frameworks that people are thinking within, who is being exploited in the organization. And I actually think people can make more change when they're working from the places they're situated in. So I initiated this program within my university because I have the resources, because I'm there, because I can see that it's taking place, because this is my world and it's easy for me to initiate and make inner change. And I think women can either work in social entrepreneurships, but they can, if you're a nurse and you're in a hospital, you can make a lot of changes within that hospital. If you're a waitress in a 5-star hotel, you can probably make changes within the hotel. So my paradigm is that people can change things wherever they're situated, and that's why we also enable students to work and do the practice voluntarily in private offices where they're not paid, but still it's a private firm, or in third sector organizations and NGOs, or in the public sector. And I think you can make change, like Harbeen is doing this conference. Nobody really nominated her to do this, and I think people can make different choices of what they want to do in this conference and what type of groups they want to build up from here. And so I think if you have power in your location, you can make good use of that power.
We can continue the discussion later, but we'll complete the awarding ceremony. The awards will be given by Ms. Mayara, both the speakers. Thank you, speakers, for
I
the
would like to
session.
present an award for them.
Oh, thank you.
For our current leaders and such.
Thank you.
One more for both the speakers.
And for Gabriela Sakova, yes, also for our current leaders in social.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to speak?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Just one put. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we can continue with the discussion.
Any inquiries you can?
You can go ahead with this. Any third question?
So I suggest
Still have
for a
time.
shorter session that we finish the session now and we can have more discussion, open discussions. So thank you for coming, and I hope you keep a paradoxical frame. Thanks.
Thank you everyone.
Coverage, ठीक है? Okay.
Yes,
And then you forget their name.
Yes, I'm taking the beer all the time we are trying. No, it's a business
ಇದು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ should face this camera every time we have to insist them before starting only. Yes, please or ask the speaker.
presentations on the website. You will upload
We can upload भी करोगे?
on the Facebook page or website?
On the website. We will put all the sessions later.
You will have
מדליה, בוודאי, בוודאי, יש לי מה מדליה, אז אני אצלם את זה ונשלח, תמיד אני אדבר.
Say cheese.
Go for it. Good luck.
רגע, יש גם מצוות
גם הילד מקבל עכשיו.
Thank you so much. I haven't been in person. I will.
But I mean, that's the way I know that. It's Africa, I guess.
You want a box for that? Should we give you a box?
Give me, madam, just a minute.
For my
Oh, she's wonderful. Yes, she is. Thank you. Sure.
I worked many years
Forget anything?
Madam, you have a card so that we can look on the card.
Oh.
So that next time it will be communication.
Okay.
Please give.
You want my card?
Yes. Card you have? Card.
I finished them in my bag, but tomorrow later I will.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Pick and choose.
אז אני אלך לראות. We know each other for Israel, it's funny. So we want to go to another session and another so we say
What area are you researching in? I'm working on 21st century villages. First century sustainable, replicable villages, so in what 20 years time? we made all the third world countries having a better quality of life than the rest.
So give me your card.
One person going to do it.
I have my card, but
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But that was just sort of the
I think
personal.
what I can suggest is you
Yeah.
just click your
It's so obvious.
the cheap scale.
The research center works in the social research. Because
You just take a picture and then.
Anyway, let's
the center of
or if you keep it, but I really like the living room.
within the university, all these people there for half time, and then how to be here by myself.
What area you
I mean, such as the link between
When you keep struggling with it,
and the
Yeah.
I think I'm working at 3 planes higher than it may explain why. I'm talking about the Earth as a limit,
Yeah.
which it is.
Yes.
It's going around the sun at whatever speed it is fine. And if we don't understand that, and the limitations of the Earth, whatever we do is going to get into trouble. Let's say, and the trouble started really about a century back. We were about 2 billion. Now we 8 billion. But tell me one thing, this was supposing you to say 30 people. You'll have some point. Tell them.
I'm going upstairs, sorry. Okay, no, but I will take this. Okay.
Why don't you take a picture of you?
You need this.
I need that card because
Yeah.
I didn't know that because
You didn't come with too many cards.
actually I was shuffling my life. This is her. She's a member of all these things.
Good.
I'm just a driver. No, I don't take over.
Yeah, you're curious.
I'm going for you. I have to see. So let's be in touch. I have to say. So we be in touch.
Yeah, we will see each other probably during this.
I'll give my card. I have to see one of the
I actually dealing with tourism. And also in real estate. And I have here, even if you decide to come to Israel, we have a special program for people who come from India. Okay? If you decide. Okay.
We'll be in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
यहाँ से चेंज की वो चेंज करके वो यहाँ से देखिए तो 15 मिनट लगेंगे
Of course, the quantitative measurements is not really a measurement. No, because it's not a measurement. It's a study. It's a story is not a measurement. You can't measure a story. Right? Like, you can't.
चेंज चाहिए all the time on a scale of 1 to 10 like how which is quantifying
पहले इसलिए मैं 50 पूछा था लोग 40
more or less
पता सब में capacity
So I actually was reading it was a sort of the description of this thing that they did in a project. And the project was sort of getting your rights project.
card card लेके लो
Anyway, the whole thing was they were making the map and their rights.
खत्म हो गया
People and
Hey, ऊपर दिया था
they're not voting enough or not sure if the law allows them to, stuff like that. And so they're like constantly exploited and used by the populations around them. And what they did was that they went and talked with the community and put up a number of statements. Last time on my grant, I was able to discuss it with yes or no. Because most people are illiterate, instead of telling yes or no, they would have like a smiley face or a sign. And that would be the measurement. And they did that with a number of like statements that the community created as both aspirations and sort of facts on how their life was. the thing is